So hello and welcome back to those of you who view my little flying videos on YouTube and elsewhere, if there is an elsewhere. Today is my first flight for a little while. We're going to be going from a place called Whitehills, which is in the north of Scotland, and we're going to end up at Lossie, which is just up the coast a little bit. However, we're not going directly there. We're going to take a little detour and fly over a bit of Scotland that we have links to. So Whitehills is a place where I have some family history going back quite a long way. My great lots of great grandfather was a fisherman here, had family here, died here. He died in a fishing accident just off the coast in a little salmon fishing boat. So we're gonna pay a little homage today. We're gonna fly off from here, end up in Lossie, and we're in the Cessna 172. I'll just give you a little look outside. There we go. That's the plane we're in today, a little Cessna 172. And let's get on with it. So we've got a flight plan loaded. We don't have any wind data at this point in time. We'll just check the barometer is set for our... Oh yeah, there we go. That needed setting. So our current elevation is about 290 feet above sea level. So we'll take off. We'll head down, have a little look around the village of Whitehills on the North Scotland coast, and take it from there. Oh, there is a bit of wind straight away. There's a little bit of a... Now this runway is very strange in that it has a dirty great wind turbine situated on it. Now I'm not sure if that's there in real life. Wow, it is. Whoa, it is windy. We need to get in the air so we can level up. There we go. So let's get out the way of that there turbine, because that would be rather dangerous. So as we take off, we'll wheel around a little bit and go over the village of Whitehills. Just taking in the scenery. It's very agricultural in this area. But historically, fishing was the big thing. Lots of salmon fisheries. So let's have a little look here. So this is Whitehills. There's a caravan site just there that you can see. So the caravan site is actually on the site of... Is that Whitehills? The caravan site is on the site of what used to be a brick and tile factory in the 1800s, of which my great grandfather worked, as in the son of the son of the salmon fisher who died in the rocks just down there. His son worked as a brick and tile maker and installer, I believe. He installed them as well. So this is essentially the area that my dad's side of the family originated from. This is about as far back as I can trace them on that side of the family anyway. They go back to about 80, well, obviously he died in 1832, I believe. But I can trace them back in their migration towards Glasgow. And then hence my birth. So my dad's side, so the Robertson line, if you like, are all from this part of the country. Which I was quite surprised when we came up here for the first time, which was quite a while ago. I was expecting this part of Aberdeenshire to be very, very hilly and mountainous and rugged. It's actually not. It's very similar to the south of England, really, in that there's lots of farmers' fields. It's very agricultural. It's quite flat. Obviously, you have to fly through some mountains to get here. What did I say? Fly through? No, you don't. You drive through. So we had to drive through some mountains to get here. But once you're here, it's actually very flat, very agricultural. There is a bit of a breeze comes in off the North Sea, so it can be a bit windy. But yeah, it just had a very serene feeling about the place. Very calm, very, it didn't feel like a rugged area of Scotland, shall we say. Whereas growing up in Glasgow and then doing a lot of walking and hill walking, camping and stuff around Loch Lomond and slightly north of there, Fort William, that kind of area, it was quite rugged. So you think, oh, that's the rugged bit of Scotland. Anything north is going to be the Highlands, basically. So up here is the Highlands. It's not. It's very flat. It's very lowlandy. Very, almost like border kind of country, but it's in Aberdeenshire. So there's a lot of in this area, a lot of whiskey distilleries going on. There's a lot of barley and things growing up here. And there's quite a few whiskey distilleries, which is great. The River Spey and obviously Speyside and all that kind of stuff is just a little bit south of here. Not too far, to be honest. The water's good, the air is good, and the scenery is quite nice, even though I say so myself. So we're just gonna, I should have set the trim before now, so we're just gonna throttle back a little bit, and I'm gonna fiddle with the trim to try and get us straight and level at about, let's drop down a little bit, let's say 2,000 feet. I don't want to be too high, really. What would be the point? It's all about the scenery. Now, that's a lovely bit of scenery there, with the river sort of oxbows around in there and comes back out again. It's almost like a little amphitheatre. I bet there's some fishing going on down there. It's all very nice. Yeah, so it's a lovely part of the world. If you've never visited, you're missing. You need to come and have a look around. So where we're on diverting to today is basically just a little town just up ahead. It's about 3 miles up ahead. You can probably see it just off the nose here as I look down. It's a little village. It has a little market square, or a town centre, a little market square, which is very small. You can park there. There's a little coffee shop, or a bank that used to be, sorry, a coffee shop that used to be a bank. We visited a long time ago because my great-great-great-grandmother seem to have a stall situation going on here. Oh, there we go. That was a strange thing. So we visited some time ago because my great-great-great-grandmother lived here, was from here, and so you kind of come back and try and see if any of the houses are still around that they would have lived in and things. So we did find her street, Devon Street, I think it was. However, the bigger significance of this town that we're flying over now, and the fact that my relatives can be traced back to here, is that if I can find it. So there's the little town centre. So there's a green patch of grass, the sports field there, and then just there's a little town centre, not very big at all. And that the just underneath us is probably Gordonstone School. The little town centre there. There's the bank building, which is the coffee shop. So for those of you who haven't already guessed, this is the town of Huntly in Aberdeenshire. That's the town centre there, little square. There's a big school up here, very posh school. I think it's a very posh school, probably is for my upbringing. So the town of Huntly is quite significant in our family because when we decided to get a dog some 16 years ago, we named our dog after the town of Huntly. And very recently we said goodbye to Huntly after 16 years. And they were the best 16 years with a dog that anybody could ever have. We miss him. We will always love him. And it's very difficult to fly with the eyes full of water in a headset that doesn't let the water go anywhere, and I don't know what I'm doing now. Anyway, thank you, Huntly. So we're now heading towards our final stop for the day, which will be Lossiemouth Air Base, RAF Lossiemouth, which is about 20 miles ahead, not very far. We'll be there in no time. For those of you clock watching, saying get a move on, why are you flying so slow? We're just taking in the scenery around here. It's, as I said, it's an area rich in distilleries, whiskey production. We visited one when we were up recently, Glenfarclas, absolutely superb. I had a little tasting at the end of the tour. It was yeah, it was lovely. It was really interesting to see how the water of life is actually made, and then have a little snifter at the end, a cheeky wee dram. And we brought a bottle back with us, which is now a very special bottle. Well, it was a special bottle anyway, but it's quite special stuff. So I'm way off my flight plan at the minute. I don't know what I'm doing. I think there is a fairly well, there's a bit of a headwind going on now, flying into the wind. I think Lossiemouth is just ahead there to the left, almost straight ahead, but it's a bit more left. So we're heading back towards the coast. So we'll keep the revs reasonably high, about 2,500-ish, and see if we can set some trim for, say, 3,500 feet, which we're slightly above. Now we're just dropping down a bit, so we'll gain some speed. 3,500 would be nice. I can level off on that, but if not, who cares? We'll get there. Climbing again because I've got too much speed. See, this is what you have to do, is fiddle around with it, just adjust slightly to try and level out. So we've got a bit of a crosswind going on at this point in time. It's coming at us off our from the north almost, which is off our right wing. Once again, we're getting blown away off our course, so we'll get round. So Lossiemouth is a very what's that down there? Lossiemouth is a very busy airbase. We've been up and we've visited the area a few times. A friend of ours was based here for a while and lived in Elgin nearby. And we visited and had a great time. And we've come up recently. We had some time up here with one of my daughters, who's studying up here currently. So we came up again, had a drive past Lossiemouth. So it used to have tornadoes, but the tornado has been phased out. Now it has 3 squadrons of typhoons. Somebody will correct me, probably are. I'm sure there's at least 3 squadrons of typhoons up here. Obviously a very busy place for air movements and air traffic. Keeping an eye out to the north, obviously with things as they are in the world, you've got to keep your eyes and ears open. So we're heading back towards the coast. Lossie Mouth will just be over there. If I look down in that kind of area. So as we come back onto our flight plan, it will take us off to the left there slightly. We could put the autopilot on. I mean, that could be really boring, but I'm just having a little fly at the minute, just to get used to it again, because I haven't been on for a while. So I think our landing is going to be... let's have a look. We're going to have to land into wind, obviously, as you do. So what we'll do is we'll fly over. I know that one of the runways is pretty much north to south because of the prevailing wind up here. But we'll do an actual circuit type join where we'll come in at about 1,000 feet over the runway. Oh no, we shouldn't do that. Excuse me. We should come in over that, obviously, to join, and then when you join the circuit, you should be about 1,000 feet above the runway height. We are gaining altitude for some strange reason, even though I'm still trimming away to my heart's content. The wind is just quite gusty. Yeah, it's gusting between, saying steady there, 15, 17 knots, but I'm feeling it a bit more than that. Looks like there's a bit of cloud over there as well, so it should be okay. It should just be a bit of light cloud. We'll pass through that. So we'll start making our gentle descent, and we'll aim to cross the runway at about 1,500 feet. We'll cross over so that we're not in the way of anything that's already in the circuit, and then we will join the circuit, or a circuit, to land probably to the north. Which is off to the sort of 45 degrees to the right there, sort of over in the watery direction. So the town that we're coming up to here is Elgin. Nice place, lots of distilleries on this road that runs up the coast. We drove a few years ago. We drove the coast from Whitehills up to Elgin, Lossie Mouth, and then came back down south through Loch Ness. We came that way rather than come through central Scotland. We came down Loch Ness. Beautiful, beautiful road. But this one was just, distillery, of which my friend worked in one for a while. So here's another old disused airfield. We've also got RAF Kinloss. I believe it's just further up the coast a little bit, which again is now disused, I believe, as in it's no longer an RAF station. It's a shame, all these stations, all these places that we used to have as RAF sites and army sites and whatever, they've all fallen into disrepute. They've all been subject to various government cutbacks. That's all they seem to do, is cut back everything we've had, everything we've relied on. They've cut it back till basically you can no longer rely on any of it. So we've now got the military's been cut back so much that pretty much the whole of our armed forces can get into a football stadium. Yeah, I mean, just think about that for a minute. Every single person in the armed forces could get into a football stadium. It's utterly mad. It's madness. Everybody buys house insurance, everybody buys car insurance, but the country has no insurance left. We've got no insurance. We are stupid. Governments are stupid. So I shouldn't make political comments, should I? Anyway, this is the lovely little town of Elgin. There's a great little golf course just on the beach here, which was very nice. Oh, hang on. Yeah. And this is where are these runways? We used to walk up the golf course and watch the tornadoes come in. So let's just... So yeah, there is a runway that runs out to sea there. It doesn't look as if... So that one's to... So that's an east-west. There's probably going to be like a 01 or a 05 and a... There's the golf course, which was very nice. I used to take our friends' dogs. Used to have little walkies around there. There's the outer marker blimping away. So what we'll do is we will 1,100. So we're not bad for height. We'll just pull back round. We'll fly over parallel to the runway there, which is 2. Is that 2-3? No, that's... I can't land on that. We can't land on that because it's... No way. Right, the wind is that... Oh, the wind has changed direction. Or has it? No, it has not. Right, so we're going to land on this darker runway. 10 that end. So we're going to use that as... So what have we got on the ground here at Lossie Mouth? We should see some hardware dotted around. So just joining the circuit there, about 1,000 feet, not too bad. We'll take a notch of flap. The nose will try and rise because of the extra lift there that we put on the wing. So we'll just keep the runway in sight over our left shoulder. About 45 degrees is what they recommend that you would start your turn onto base leg. It's going to be quite a short, I think, another bit notch of flap. And we'll just come around, losing a little bit of height as we come round. We should hopefully start to get the runway lined up. There we go. We'll just
500
call out. Flaps on. We have got a bit of a crosswind. In fact, it's a straight crosswind. So we're coming in on a bit of a yaw. front end is pointing into the wind, front of the airplane, so we just, you can see the windsock there pointing right across the runway, so we're pointing into wind. Ooh, I'm stalled a bit early, so we'll just hold off, and then land straight on with a bit of rudder, and then we can dispense with the flaps. What we'll do is we'll just well, looks at least busy and to the left, I think. This looks like a little unused building here with some cars, so we'll just park up here and make sure we don't hit the cones and the lights. I don't know what this is, but anyway, it looks like the main site is over there. Anyway, this is RAF Lossiemouth, and we'll end our little flight here. Parking brakes on, and I just had to do that today. Just had to do it. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.